Well, I would say that everyone faces heartbreaks, right?
Yeah.
And it's like everyone faces rejections at work. It's like facing a rejection in your personal space.
But I genuinely think heartbreak is how love is a beautiful emotion, like she said. I think heartbreak is even more beautiful in that
Yeah.
sense. At उस moment पर ना बहुत दर्द होता है, बहुत लगती है.
Parents, like you said, you say, I love you, I love mom more, I love dad more, I love both. That artificial and spend money and do the setup. I think for me personally, I am very romantic.
भाई मैं जब स्टैंडर्ड 2 में था, so there was this girl whom I really liked in my class. तो मैंने अपना प्यार जताने के लिए क्या किया था, वो जो एक्लेयर्स टॉफी होता है वो मैंने उनको उनके टेबल पे रख के दिया था. एंड उन्होंने जब पूछा मुझसे कि ये क्या है, तो मैंने बोला ये इसलिए है क्योंकि आई लव यू. That was the first association of myself with the word I love you. And उसके बाद से कितने एसोसिएशन से वो इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, बट द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट, देखो ये भोला भाला शक्ल है यहाँ पे, लाइक Pavail over here for I love you on Jio Cinema. First of all, thank you so much for being over here.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure chatting, and I think I'm chatting with you for the first time. So bro feast.
Likewise, always a pleasure.
What a sweet story, man.
Sweet story.
Yeah,
I thought integrate कर देता हूँ इधर हर जगह पे.
Nice.
मेरा भी थोड़ा ये हो जाएगा. But you know, I spoke about love. There are different versions to it. Like when you mature, say maybe when you're 16 or 18, you start understanding the essence. उसका एक अलग form होता है. You know, with parents, it's a different form of love. But वो जो story मैंने कहा when I was in standard 2, I'm sure वैसे मशी stories you guys also must have had in terms of a sweet little innocent crush.
Yeah.
वो भी हम लोग उसको तब प्यार समझते, वो प्यार होता भी of course.
Right.
What is your first association with love in real life which you can recollect and which you feel like यार कितना innocent चीज था?
I feel, of course, first love तो आप अपने parents, like you said, you say I love you, I love mom more, I love dad more, I love both, that's how you go. And I think
I used to say mom अगर सामने होती थी, I used to say mom, अगर dad होते थे dad.
लड़के बड़े शाने होते हैं.
I was taught both, so I used to say both to both. Like, like I would always be like, no, both. But the point is that, love is I feel personally that one emotion. We just make it different. Love is supposed to be the way it is with parents. It's unconditional. They accept us for who we are, and we accept them for who they are. I don't know why in relationships we try putting conditions. I feel love is a similar emotion. It's like growing together. It's accepting one another, and that's what love is.
I want to hear your story as well. Must have had some interesting stories.
Yeah, I think
you
school,
must have had. शक्ल पे लिखा है तुम्हारे.
शक्ल पे लिखा है.
कि
इसलिए तो
तुम
मैंने
बहुत
बोला
लड़कियों को
लड़कियां
जाके बोलते
पाप्स बुलाती
होगे.
हैं.
there was this this girl in school, I remember she was dating someone else at that point of time, and I had a huge crush on her. So what I did was in her house, her parents used to love me. So I took their permission and I organized like a surprise birthday party for her, and her own boyfriend had forgotten. And I did like surprise, called all her friends, decorated the whole place, got speakers, got a favorite cake and all of that. And and I did that, and then बहुत मेहनत मुशक्कत के बाद
Knew it. देखो ये भोला भाला शक्ल है यहाँ पे, लेकिन
अरे बहुत मेहनत करी थी यार.
Of course मेहनत. Kidding, but then when I talk about love, when I talk about emotions at the same time, it's very beautiful and it's very pure. That is what we refer. But कहीं ना कहीं जाके when people fake love, जो आज के जनरेशन में a lot of people talk about कि यार हम लोग ने इतना कुछ देखा in terms of fake love and fake relationships, people not putting in efforts, because of which वो जो confidence होता है on that emotion and relationship, वो बहुत जल्दी people are losing, right? In today's generation I can say, and like यार, I mean they say कि screw love, we don't need love, we are good that way, independent individually. All that is fine, but you can't really kind of completely eliminate that emotion which is very important in your life. What do you have to say to those individuals who probably face heartbreak in a very early stage of their life, but they're perhaps struggling to lift themselves up?
Well, I would say that everyone faces heartbreaks, right? And it's like everyone faces rejections at work. It's like facing a rejection in your personal space. But we need to learn from their heartbreaks. I think heartbreaks only make you stronger and more aware of what it is that you need to work upon.
Correct.
And become a better person. We all make mistakes, and how do you learn from, like, otherwise you think मुझे तो सब पता है. But through heartbreaks you learn what is it that is your ideal definition of love, or what kind of, this is not something which is acceptable, or this is something what I should have done better. And you learn from that and you move on, because life is too long to cry or fret over something that has happened in the past. I feel you have to grow from your heartbreaks, you have to to do those things right which you didn't do right, and you have to give love another chance, because love is such a beautiful emotion. And even if we are independent and self-driven, I think that's very important.
Yes.
But I've always believed that you have to be a happy and content person in your own self to be
bring
able
happiness
to
others.
love.
Very true.
Only then you can give.
Yeah.
You are only happier together. You're not filling one another's void, and there's no conditions that you're putting. You're not trying to कि I love you तो मेरे लिए ये करना, ऐसा नहीं होता है. You know, so only if you are a complete person will you be able to love.
Yeah, absolutely. What is your story? पहला ही बार दिल कब टूटा था?
तभी टूटा था यार, when she started dating someone else.
Oh wow.
But
So from
anyways,
someone else to
I
you to
love the
someone
story.
else.
They are all interconnected. ना मतलब ये ऐसा हुआ था ये मतलब.
अरे but I genuinely think heartbreak is like how love is a beautiful emotion, like she said. I think heartbreak is even more beautiful in that sense. At उस moment पर ना बहुत दर्द होता है, बहुत लगती है और बहुत तकलीफें होती हैं. हर गाना लगता है तुम्हारे बारे में है, क्योंकि जो लिखा गया है, और बहुत सारा संगीत सुनते हो तुम तब, और हर गाना ऐसा लगता है कि मेरे लिए ही लिखा गया है, ये मेरी कहानी है. You relate to a lot of things, I think, but in hindsight, when you get over it, you realize how much you've grown as a person.
Productive कितना था?
Productive कितना था और कितना कुछ सीखने को मिला. It's the same thing, yeah. Success teaches you arrogance, and failure kind of makes you grow.
Yeah.
So I think it's a beautiful feeling. Obviously, at that moment of time, you can't embrace it, but over time, you learn to understand what that was all about.
I think beautifully put when you mentioned that time, over time, because you need to give yourself that space and time as well, and not rush.
And not
Very
rush, and
important.
not be in a loop. कि
हाँ,
के
ये
बाद
करना है,
एक के बाद
करना है.
एक.
Don't set yourself timelines, I believe. I think that is a very important point that you mentioned. You know, I have to talk about this thing. People are talking about proposals, etc. Individually, what kind of proposals, or how romantic are you guys in general in terms of, say, nahi yaar, if I want to go on a date, I want this kind of a setup to be done for myself. Do you believe in all those stuff? You have simple and easy.
No, not that artificial and spend money and do the setup. I think for me personally, I am very romantic, but it's about time and it's about the intention as opposed to what's done.
Correct.
You know, I don't want to set up and all. तुमने set up कर दिया and you're on a phone call, that doesn't work for me. So
time is the most valuable thing.
Most valuable thing, yes.
What about you? I heard in the previous interview आपने कहा कि I also want to be pampered, but I'm sure you must have had opportunities जहाँ पे you have been pampered.
नहीं वो जवाब इसलिए था क्योंकि सवाल ही ऐसा था, but anyway.
I love the way.
नहीं यार, for me, I don't think I'm very romantic, which I sometimes think I am. But
do you feel you're shy?
Not shy. My idea of romance is just to sit with the person and watch movies.
Oh yes.
And I think
Simple
that's
and
where
easy.
I find my solace and having popcorn. I think that's me. Just very simple in that sense. Can't go overboard with it. I can't do Valentine's Day, and I can't do
but that's
Rose Day.
Gimmick anyway.
So
whatever fits the bill for any individual. I think जो जिसके लिए काम करता है, that is what. At the end of the day, if it makes you happy, then there's nothing more than that. But you know, when I talk about romantic movies, it's not just a romantic movie; it's a romantic thriller as well, right? So वो romance जो होता है, so of course you want to go out there with your partner, you want to watch it, or with anyone, so to say, friends बोलो कुछ भी बोलो, but वो thriller जो zone हो जाता है, you have to be in that mushy zone. I don't know. I mean, that is my assumption of you guys being actors. You also have to be in the mushy zone, and at the same time, वो thriller, वो seriousness लाने के लिए, वो भी थोड़ा बहुत उस पे भी आपको as actors, as artists कुछ काम करना पड़ता है. So वो balance करना is it difficult, easy, because I mean, romantic thrillers is quite a niche in itself, right? If I can put it that way. So, how do you prepare for projects like these?
It's not about a project. It's about the character that you prepare for, and largely for I Love You, we had workshops. We had 2 weeks of workshop with Atul Mongia, and that was the most draining part actually, because in those workshops we were made to unlearn everything and tap on our emotion. And it was a lot of grilling and drilling, and they were exhausting days, like 6-7 hours in a day, exhausting and poking on our emotion and making us break and like literally निचोड़ देते हैं ना जैसे कि हमें कैसा feel हो रहा है, how do we feel anxiety, how do we feel pain, how do we feel we're broken, and like he would keep poking and drilling us till we really like, you know, let go. So that process was very new, and subconsciously you start relating to your emotion as opposed to using the craft.
Correct.
And yeah, he also had a great experience of the workshop.
वो सुनना है हमको वर्कशॉप का एक्सपीरियंस.
नहीं यार, वर्कशॉप का एक्सपीरियंस पहले 2 दिन बहुत अच्छा था, बहुत मजा आ रहा था.
ऐसा क्या हो गया 2 दिन के बाद? आई एम वेरी क्यूरियस.
थर्ड डे यार, हिज प्रोसेस इज क्वाइट टफ एंड अतुल सर's प्रोसेस इज ब्रिलियंट. ये पर वही हार्ट ब्रेक वाली बात है कि उस वक्त बहुत वो लगता है कि क्यों हो रहा है ये मेरे साथ और मुझे नहीं करना है ये, मुझे पिक्चर भी नहीं करनी है. बट देन लेटर यू रियलाइज हाउ इम्पोर्टेंट दैट वाज. सो there came a time where I was not feeling really up to the workshop, and it wasn't. I thought it wasn't helping me. It was making me very uncomfortable. But turned out I showed up the next day as well, because I figured out that it was kind of helping and leading me to the right direction. So yeah, I think that वो जो part था वो 2 हफ्ते का, that helped us become friends also. And shoot for the film in the most beautiful and fun way, because the film was could agar wo nahi hota, could have been really exhausting. I think that kind of helped us just be ourselves and have fun on set.
And I saw your friendship. मैंने अभी just थोड़ा बहुत instance देखा. There's a very Tom and Jerry vibe to your friendship, if I can put it that way, because you agree to disagree. And in a fun way. I think there was something that was there where you both disagree.
वैसे एक दूसरे का कुछ भी बोलते रहते.
हाँ, so that's what I'm saying. You know, that's the fun part of it.
Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry kind of friendship.
I'll be Tom because I like cats.
आप हाँ. So
I'll be Jerry. I like to.
But you know, when we talk about love, last question before I wrap up, I have to ask this. When we talk about love for fans as well, that is also a different kind of love जो आप लोगों को मिलता है from
Absolutely.
admirers
Most
as well.
unconditional.
I have to talk about that. The easiest way for them to reach out to you all is perhaps on Instagram, DMs वगैरह and all. कभी-कभी I'm sure with your hectic schedules it becomes difficult to read them. But certain important messages from people who perhaps have a crush on you, interesting होता है जो शायद आप दिन के एंड में देखते हो और पढ़ते हो and you feel like smiling because यार कितना प्यारा मैसेज है. So ऐसा कोई प्यारा मैसेज you can recollect in recent times which you got from some fan who perhaps has a crush on you?
I think एक नहीं होता, हजारों में रोज मैसेज आते हैं, and I think that's the beauty of it. And एक मैसेज नहीं, I think even for a person who says that I've been following your journey, for a person to give that time out of their life to follow your journey and appreciate your work and praise your work, and the fan groups that are there that make pictures and do edits.
Oh, yeah, it's so sweet edits.
You know, it's so sweet. It's like you're truly blessed if so many people are actually sending out happy wishes for you. And there's no bigger love than that.
Absolutely. Which was that message जहाँ पे आपको लिखा गया Pavs, I am really crushing on you, please मेरे साथ डेट पे चलो, ऐसा कोई मैसेज आया आपके पास?
100%.
100%.
नहीं, of course आते हैं कई बार, but
do you respond?
You can't respond.
You can't,
I understand.
but
Just putting it in your face.
I of course it's nice and you feel nice, and big love back to them.
Of course. Big love back to them, and I think after this I hope जितना प्यार आप लोग देते हो उनको उसका 2x प्यार आपको भी मिले from them, and I hope that it becomes a success. I think I Love You guys on Jio Cinema, 16th of June is the date.
Yes, 16th of June on
16th of June is the date. Family के साथ देखो, भाई के साथ देखो, बहन के साथ देखो, girlfriend, boyfriend, crush, किसी के साथ भी देखो, but देखना is the most important thing, because these guys are there, so you have to show them some love. That's a wrap on the Bollywood Talk Show today on IWMBuzz. This is your host Shubhajit. We'll see you again with another interesting episode very soon. Thank you so much.